Hello, and welcome to Mother Earth's Treasures, a series where we're going to begin a journey to explore the scientific and the mystical side of natural resources used in jewelry making. I decided to begin this series because when I started jewelry making, I had no idea what stones were made out of, where they came from, or what their metaphysical properties were. I just knew that I was drawn to them and I liked what I liked. So, but over the years, obviously being a jeweler, many of my clients have asked me what are the metaphysical properties and where do the stones come from. Thankfully, a wonderful friend of mine had the answers because she worked at a gemstone store at one time. Her name is Carrie Huber, and she gave me this amazing book called Love is in the Earth by Melody. It is basically a huge encyclopedia full of information about all the metaphysical properties of gemstones. And there is so much information in it that I keep it around because when a client asks, I can't possibly keep all the information in my head because there's so much of it. And so I leave it around so people can actually look through it. I've also learned much more about where my stones come from and what they're made out of because as my jewelry making progressed, I wanted to work with higher quality stones, and so I had to start really understanding them. But I found it really difficult to get both types of information in the same place, and so I thought, why not bring some of it together myself and teach you some of the things that I have learned and also continue my own progress in learning things that I don't know. So I'm going to start out with a little description of what gemology is. And basically gemology is simply the study of stones and how to identify them. It's used by appraisers, jewelers, lapidary artists, rock hounders. It really helps them to be able to identify what they're using and when to appropriately use it. It's also used for crystal healing, and of course those people are also gemologists usually because they have to know what the gems are that they are using. It's very important. And also the crystal art of healing. What is that? A lot of people don't understand what that is. And basically what that is it's the practice in which a person uses gemstones to physically and mentally assist a person in their health. Because it is believed that there is energy and properties within gemstones. Many people truly do believe that this is a perfect form of health management, and it isn't scientifically proven that that is the case. In fact, science has basically found that it is more of a placebo effect, where if you believe it, it will help you, and if you don't, it will not. So, you know, it's really more like a faith or a religion. It aids us in our journey for healthy minds and bodies. And in my opinion, it's the perfect complement to science because belief is a very powerful thing. One can't feed their soul and believe that they're going to simply be healthy physically or mentally without assistance. And people who only feed their bodies generally will not have healthy minds. So it's really not a bad thing for them to come together. And so that's what I wanted to start here. So for the very first gem that we're going to talk about gemstone called Moonstone. And I have a Moonstone necklace on right here. It's absolutely one of my favorite types of stone. And I also have a smaller sample that's not made into anything. And you can see it has loads of beautiful blues and greens and pinks and purples. And it's sort of flashy, which I love. The way that it gets its flash is actually during the process of crystallization. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. So I didn't actually realize until very recently that Moonstone does come in other colors. I thought it only came in white and rainbow. which is the most common one, so most people do recognize that. But it actually comes in a large range of colors. It comes in peach, brown, gray, green, blue, purple, and yellow. It is part of a feldspar family, and a feldspar family of rocks is minerals that crystallize from magma. They generally consist of aluminum silicates of either potassium, sodium, calcium, or barium. And they can exist as extrusive, which means to be thrown out onto the surface of the earth, or they can be intrusive, which means that it is created under the crust of the earth and it cools underground. Among other feldspars are gemstones like amazonite, labradorite, and sunstone, and in those you can see that they do, it makes sense that they are family because they have also that sparkle or flash. It has been mined for millennia and used in jewelry and ceremonial robes, especially in Greece and Rome and India. And it became used quite a lot in jewelry after the French goldsmith designer René Lalique began using it constantly in his work. And that's why it's now used all the time in jewelry, because you see that. They called it Moonstone because it was actually believed to be the solidification of the moonbeams, which is because of the iridescence it has. So the shimmer that I talked about, the flash, whatever you want to call it, actually comes from the interlaying of another type of feldspar, and it develops internal chemical separation during that crystallization process. So basically, it creates layers, and those layers reflect the light, and that's how you get the color and the flash in them. It's generally considered midway through on the hardening scale. It's about a 6 to 6.5, and the scale is 0 to 10, meaning 0 is the softest, 10 is the hardest. So 6 to 6.5 is right about the middle. So it can get scratched, and you have to be a little more careful with it. It is found in Armenia, Australia, the Austrian Alps, Mexico, Madagascar, Myanmar, Norway, Poland, India, Sri Lanka, and the United States. In fact, the United States uses it in Florida for its state gemstone, and it is the birthstone of Gemini. The Moonstone represents the second chakra and the crown chakra. The second chakra is sexuality, creativity, pleasure, feeling, and emotions, and the crown chakra is the universe or consciousness and the divine source energy of presence. It is used for clarity, fertility and women's reproductive systems, love, protection, self-awareness, and with a softness to the ease or protection of emotions into the light with a love and acceptance. It's also been used by travelers as a protection stone. It's a stone of balance, calm, and awareness, and helps one to tune into the rhythm of the body. It is considered a wishing stone and helps with new beginnings, creates intuition and insight, which enhances the perception and the discernment of being able to achieve these things. It cleanses negativity and brings creativity and self-expression forward. It has often been used as a gift at weddings for the happy couple, so that it will bring them a happy marriage and continue to bring them children. It's considered to be a talisman of protection and a divine gem. Considered to be a divine gem. So it's a wonderful, wonderful gemstone, and the best part is it's incredibly beautiful to wear. So that being said, one of the things you do have to do to take care of it is you have to be more gentle with it. So no ultrasonics or steam cleaners should be used, and you want to make sure that if you use a liquid, it is a very mild type of liquid, not a high acidity. So warm soapy water really is plenty to clean the gem itself. And as for the metal around it, I highly suggest using a very soft polishing cloth so that you don't scratch the stone. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you learned some information that you didn't know before and that you enjoyed it. And I hope it gets you curious about gems and what they're made out of and what their energies are. So have a wonderful week, and I will see you back next week.